Born in 1864, Henry Ford grew up at the height of the American Industrial Revolution. From 1870 to 1916, America made the dramatic change from manual to mechanized production. While Ford did not invent the automobile, his development of the assembly line greatly reduced its cost. Ford's Rouge factory continues this tradition of making affordable, personal travel possible to any part of our nation. With his company well established, Ford turned his attention to his lifelong goal, gathering those items that help recall our past. Needing a place to showcase this massive collection, he built his dream, the Henry Ford Museum. The indoor exhibition space covers 523,000 square feet. The museum hosts 1.7 million visitors each year. The collection started in 1906 and is constantly expanded. A new exhibit helps young and old understand the importance of math in our daily life. One of the earlier additions is the Dymaxion House. It was one of the first prefabricated homes. It was environmentally friendly and efficient. However, none were ever actually occupied. The Ford Museum covers 154 years of automobiles. Entire industries sprung up as Americans took to the roads to explore our nation. It did not take long for auto racing to become a national pastime. After its first use during World War I, the airplane was used by daredevils to entertain and explorers to reach the North Pole. Soon it became a major method of transportation. The first tractors were steam-powered. While they could plow 10 times the area of horses, it was not until the advent of gas-powered engines that tractors replaced horses in large numbers. The largest locomotive on display is the Allegheny. It weighs 771,000 pounds and could pull 9,600 tons of coal. The cab is open to visitors. Many can imagine their first train set and the dream layout operating at the museum. largest steam engines were stationary and used to operate mills and factory machinery. Many were also used to generate electricity. The authentic chair in which Lincoln was assassinated is on display. It is fitting that a large section of the museum is dedicated to expanding freedoms. During the Depression, Ford provided social welfare services to black communities and provided housing. He provided low-interest loans, inexpensive groceries, and refurbished inner-city schools. In 1914, Ford began hiring black workers, and in an unprecedented move for its time, paid black workers the same wages as white workers. In 1955, Rosa refused to give her seat to a white passenger as the law required. She was arrested, denied water, and jailed. That same bus was found in a field, authenticated, and is now at the Ford Museum. The limousines on display are authentic. The first is Teddy Roosevelt's 1902 Broom. All have been carefully restored, including the Lincoln in which Kennedy was assassinated. While the passing of time distorts our memories, we like to recall our past with fondness and nostalgia. Later in his life, Henry Ford looked back to his family farm and home. His mother died when he was only 13. When he discovered the family home was to be demolished for a new road, Henry was devastated. He had it moved to a new location and had it fully restored in memory of his mother. Not stopping there, Ford decided to recreate an entire town to help recall his youth and to leave a legacy for others to relive a different time in America. Covering 90 acres, the village demonstrates how Americans lived as our country grew. The roundhouse was built in 1884 and moved to Greenfield in 1992. For every day a locomotive ran, they needed a full day of maintenance. The turntable weighs 45 tons. It is so well balanced that 5 small children can easily move it. No motor is used. It is one of the many hands-on activities around the village. Visitors can record and then hear the recording made on an original Edison cylinder.
So this is a game called Skittles. It is a precursor to modern day bowling, and it's where you use a top instead of like a ball. Really nice.
That was decent.
A large section of the village is dedicated to the many crafts needed in early America. The clock was built in 1864 and rings on the hour. The carousel was built in 1913 and includes the original hand-carved animals and mechanism. Throughout the village are numerous historic buildings. A recreation of Edison's research laboratory includes machinery and artifacts from the original building in New Jersey. Webster's home was constructed in 1823 and moved from its original location in Connecticut. The Wright Brothers' home is from 1855 and moved to Greenfield from Dayton, Ohio. The Sarah Jordan boarding house has the distinction of housing for Edison employees and, in 1879, was one of the first houses wired for electricity. The Martha Mary Chapel was built by Henry Ford in 1929 in memory of his mother. Henry Ford personally took charge of the restoration of his beloved childhood home as it looked when his mother died, recreating every detail. He even remembered the type of stove in the family dining room. He searched for months and finally found the exact model on a porch. The Henry Ford is the largest indoor-outdoor museum complex in America. Every turn reveals a new aspect of America's history. A functioning 1930s machine shop gives hands-on demonstrations. An original small-town general store. A country farming community. The courthouse where Lincoln practiced law was moved from Illinois. The authentic cycle shop, where the Wright brothers developed the first airplane, was moved from Dayton, Ohio. And seen throughout the village, Ford's Model T.